We like to build up all the anticipation.
Wait for it.
Let's say hypothetically that I don't know anything about fly fishing.
Yeah, right?
It was like this instant 8-way man crush.
I'm on the fence.
The time we've been doing this podcast, I've never seen Uncle Buck perk up his dolphin procreation. Like you just flipped up out of your chair.
Yeah, he just blew out his blowhole.
What are you talking about?
And that's pretty much my dream coming true, is to actually meet you guys.
Yeah. Well, I'm the humblest guy I know.
Humble.
Work and do trade shows in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. You meet some pretty wild guys.
You blew it!
I'm the worst PR person ever. Fire me.
Hey guys, we are in the current.
Who's this guy?
Welcome to the Rutten River Pursuit podcast.
We missed you, Ryan.
Welcome back.
Hi,
That's
Ryan.
right.
Have
I'm
you
Ryan.
been floating away, bud?
Flying Ryan again.
You guys finally caught up to me. I dropped anchor.
Did you?
Yeah, you guys have been rolling with your paddles down.
Playing daddy daycare.
Yeah, it's been rough. It's been busy. Yeah, it wasn't weeks. It was week singular.
Thanks a lot,
but
youth sports.
If I miss a week with you boys, it feels like a lifetime.
It does.
It does.
You were missed. I saw one of the comments on the podcast giveaway video that I did. Somebody said, "Where's Ryan?"
It's a good question.
That was his wife that posted that.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was asking us.
She was looking for
Where
him.
is he? She couldn't
I
find
thought
me.
his name was Ned.
He said not fishing.
She thought my name was Ned. Is that what you said?
I thought the guy that said his name was Ned.
No,
That's her.
Flanders.
Ned Rigg.
Ned Rigg.
That's your neighbor.
It's my alter ego, Ned Rigg.
I'm Ned Rigg.
Honey,
like it.
Honey, I'm heading over to Ned's
That
house.
might
He needs
stick.
some help with his mower.
Oh, anywho, obviously I am Ryan. Who else we got here tonight?
I'm Catfish.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Will.
Fellas, what a week.
How about it?
I don't know.
Has it been a week?
It's been, well, for me, it's been a little over
It's
a
been
week.
one week since you left it.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry.
It's been
We're going to
cold.
do that.
No,
It's cold.
It's been super cold. It's been miser weather, and I'm done with it.
I like it.
6 months of winter. I'm over it.
And
But-
wet.
Did a miser see his shadow? Is spring coming?
Yeah, well, Phil's full of
It's my
crap.
operating temperatures. I need it at this temperature to.
I've never seen nothing like it. It's 70, it snows. It's 70, it snows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good news is it's going to turn out well, I think, for all the turkey hunters.
Yep.
Yeah, so that'll be a good thing. We'll find out. I think when this thing drops, we'll be done with Youth Day, and just a few short
Youth
days.
Turkey Day, right?
We'll be ready for turkey.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
PA Youth Turkey Day.
Yes.
Yep.
And
that's
just
what
a
you
few
say.
short days away from opening day of PA Spring Gobbler 2018, and I think about 24 hours away from the end of our giveaway
Yes.
when this comes out.
Yeah, buddy.
Boy,
Cutting
oh
it
boy, you
close.
guys listen to this. Better hop over there quick.
Get on it.
Check out that video, Catfish's beautiful video about our giveaway. Tipton Creek, game calls, that vest.
A really nice vest.
Man.
I'm totally jealous of that vest.
Yeah?
Some mouth calls.
Yeah.
Tipton Creek did a really nice
They
job.
stepped
Yeah.
up big time.
Good sounding calls.
They could even make DK sound like a turkey caller.
How about that?
The verdict's still out.
We'll find out in a few short weeks. So, yeah, the weather's been a little crappy.
Poopy.
Yeah.
So, what are you doing? Anything in the outdoors? How's the boat? Like,
The boat's coming along.
you mean it's
And
coming along?
It's
it should
done.
be done.
Boat's done.
Are you putting off of that?
Yeah, I got that 8-foot putting green on the front. I actually made some modifications to the boat already.
You
This
moved
is
the
gonna be
hole,
a
or
Did
what?
you name it yet?
never-ending process. No.
I got a name.
Okay, let's hear it.
Soylent Green.
Soylent green?
Soylent.
Soylent.
Nothing.
It's up for interpretation.
Because it's people. Nothing. It's Charlton Heston. You're retarded.
I don't know why
I thought
everybody's-
it was Steven Seagal. I
had-
actually ran into
I don't know what's going on.
I
with
ran
that.
into
I'm
Ryan
lost.
at Bass
You
Pro.
must be too young.
I just smack dab ran into Ryan at Bass Pro, and he was doing modifications to the boat.
Yep. I snuck up on Catfish.
Were you testing out the boat in the pond?
Yeah. Did you put your boat in the aquarium at Bass
Dunk
Pro?
tank, yeah.
Do you find him at the magazine?
I had my
Signing
nose.
autographs.
Yeah,
It's like that Kevin Van Dam commercial where he's over there by the aquarium tossing.
I was leaving oil marks from my nose up against the fish finders at Bass Pro to try to see which one had the best resolution, and I heard, "Oh, hey, buddy."
It was you probably actually heard Addie. She goes, "There's Uncle Catfish." Mm-hmm. Yeah, we stopped in on the way home from my daughter's hockey game over to Bass Pro, and I needed to make some modifications. We had the boat out. Now that it's completely done, took it out for an inaugural run, right? So I had the first test run before the boat was done. Now we had it out for its official, it's time to fish for bass. Boat's all done. And caught the first fish on the boat.
I saw that.
I no longer owe my son, or there's no chance that I'll have to owe my son $100 for catching the first fish.
That's right.
I landed it.
Are you going to get paid?
No.
Someday.
No. But at least I don't have to pay him. So that's pretty much how that works.
How crazy was it, though, that we ended up at Bass Pro shopping for boat seats at the exactly same moment?
Exact same time.
He's like, "I'm here to get a boat seat." I'm like, "I'm here to get a boat seat."
You guys want to do karate in the garage?
These aren't the boat seats you're looking for.
Well, I almost had to talk him off of it because there was only one left of the style I needed.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, he was looking for the slightly upscale model from where I'm at.
That's how he rolls.
You were looking for the economy class.
No, I was looking for the new Millennium tree stand boat seats.
Oh, those things are so nice.
And if they had two gray ones, I would have bought them, but they only had one.
Yeah. They are comfortable. Very, very
They're
nice
making boat seats now.
Yeah, they're just like the Millennium tree stand, the anti-gravity seats. They make them in boat seats.
My butt cheeks just quivered.
That's understandable.
I bet.
Yeah.
But I decided I had a pedestal fishing seat up on the front.
Like the little bike seat.
It's like
more of a leaning post. Than,
because I was like,
it's like a 10-speed seat.
I'm turning this 12-foot John boat into like a bass catching machine.
And you have no time for sitting up front there, man. You're just going to be cranking away. So you just want something to lean against.
Correct.
Just
that's
rip and let.
Like that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But
I envision it.
my son's only 13.
I envision
he
it.
doesn't have a boater's license yet, so I have to navigate the boat. So
you're
I'm
just
going
not
to
gonna
be
let him
in
in
the
the boat?
back. Well, there is that.
Okay.
I mean,
Is there,
he
is there
listens
such
to
a
the
thing as a
podcast, so I don't
boater's
want to tell him the
license?
truth.
He can come on my boat.
Is there
It's
really
okay,
such a thing as a boater's license?
We don't have to worry about it. We're all grandfathered in, but I think it's after like
Because
if
you just scared me because I had no clue what this boater license thing was.
no, if you're born after like 85,
Oh, that's not me. I got to take a license.
you were born in 87.
88, actually.
I thought it was dependent on the size of the engine.
There's some nuances there I'd check on.
Okay, yeah,
You
look
might-
those
Did
up.
you just say nuances?
Yeah, like
Ain't that like when you sit around and get ghosts to come? What did you just say?
Seance.
Yeah.
That's a nuance.
The nuance.
I'm sorry. Continue, Mr. Nedrig.
Check your regulations and
Continue,
make sure
Ned.
you understand. But the way I understand it, to actually operate the boat, he would need to take the boater safety course and pass it and all that stuff. So I'm navigating the boat at this point. I'm running the motors.
I think there's a
Ryan's like, bass fishing now is nuance.
Relatively. I'm still relatively nuanced.
I think there's a online course he can take.
Yes.
So
We just haven't gotten around to really digging into it. But the point here is that he's going to be at the front of the boat. And he just found that pedestal boat seat, it's just a little too tall, not really comfortable. Plus, I didn't want him up, standing on the platform, leaning against this while I was
Hitting rocks.
in tow.
No, you should give him my hunter safety vest or yours.
Just
Strap-
tether into the
Yeah.
pedestal seat. Yeah.
In case the seas get rough.
I think that pedestal seat's just a waste of space anyhow. Just take it out completely.
Yeah. Well,
Put
what
a
I
Kohler
ended
up there with a cushion on it.
What I ended up doing, that would be great. Or what I went with was, instead of this big, tall pedestal seat with the little bicycle-type seat on the top, 13-inch
Yes.
riser with just a regular boat seat with the back on it and everything, and super comfortable now.
Yes.
So we hooked it up.
One of my boats had one of those pedestal seats. I liked it. It was nice, but I also had the key was I had a foot mounted
Big butt.
Yeah, that too. I had the bow mounted
like an account.
If you got a bow mounted trolling motor,
Yeah, because you're
the
using
foot
one
control,
foot on the pedal and you kind of
Yeah.
You're
It's got its place.
Yeah.
I stood up there while the thing was on the trailer in the garage when I was working on it, and I'm like, this is pretty sweet. I could fish from up here. But if somebody's in the back of the boat, plus we had my daughter out with us at the time, so there's 3 people on a 12-foot John boat. There's just a lot of moving going on, and the boat's not real stable. He would have been more comfortable sitting in a seat versus leaning against that thing.
right on.
So I wasn't trying to pull anybody out of the water.
I
I'd do like a cooler with the seat on it.
Yes. I really appreciated the fact that looking at all the seats at Bass Pro Shops, that Addy totally picked out the most amazing, most expensive boat seat. Picked it up, come running over to Ryan and goes, this is it. This is one we're getting.
She did find the most expensive one, didn't she?
Yeah. I'm pretty your response was priceless. As you said, no.
I said, no. Put it back.
Put it back.
Not happening.
It's a $400 boat seat. We're not getting whatever it was.
So yeah, for me, that's been the big thing. We got the boat out, caught the first fish on the boat, and
That's a good
Nice.
that's a good upgrade, though.
turkey season's coming up. Youth Day, 2 days from now.
Kyle, you got anything?
Yeah, the one benefit to this poor weather was I was able to catch up on some reorganizing of my outdoor gear.
Yeah,
So-
you're about 6 weeks behind everyone else.
I know. But, I mean, hey, the weather hasn't broke yet, so I took advantage of having the time to do it. So
He's got to be working on the mother-in-law's New Jersey property.
yeah, that too. But
That puts a damper in fishing time.
actually, I just saw Jim posted something about stripers and the bluefish are starting to run in Jersey. So
I have a friend down in Wachapeak in Virginia that says the flounders are on too. Yep.
So
They're coming. It's starting.
Might have to go help the in-laws out again with their fishing troubles.
They're being overrun.
Yeah.
I do want to
duty.
do the blue fishing thing and even the black drum if we can hook that up, something like that.
Yeah, that would be good.
Oh, the bluefish! It's if you can find them and hit them at the right time, it's almost annoying. Like you just slam them. We went last year. We hit them at the right time last year, Memorial Day, and we caught like probably 40 or 50 like gator blues, like 10 to 20 pounders. Just
I don't remember.
There's
being invited.
there's an invite there somewhere. It got lost in the group thread, probably up higher. You just must have missed it.
Well, I'm not available for Memorial Day, so you're off the hook.
There's a new R2 center console coming that we'll be able to do.
Thank you, Catfish.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's not quite a center console yet. It's kind of like a side console, center console combo because it's turned crooked, like in between there.
Right on.
It's not really attached to the boat anymore.
I can't wait.
It's in the middle of being modified.
Literally, this boat holds the key to my
Flounder, striper,
everything that I've
bluefish,
never done before is in that
snakehead
on that boat.
Yeah.
It's gonna be stupid.
Riverboat gambling trips.
Well, the boat that we talked about last week that I bought with Will in New Jersey was, fairly ready to go. But it fired right up. The motor was amazing.
You're like ahead of schedule.
Yeah. So I woke up one morning and I had to replace a wire in a bilge pump. And that turned into dark coming, and there's nothing left in the boat. I tore the console out, all the hoses out. I tore all the wiring out. I tore the console out of the boat. I decided to move the console from center console to center, side console to center console. And so the boat's completely stripped of anything but aluminum at this point in a steering wheel. But I spent some money this week. I also went shopping. I bought all new boat stuff, and tomorrow and Monday, so tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, half days because I work, and then Monday I have a boat inspection coming Tuesday. I have 4 days to put it back together, rewire the entire boat. It'll all be new, and I'm pushing to have it painted by May 6th.
He's got
but
some
that's
He's putting USB ports in it.
Yes.
Nice.
And Bose speakers.
Spotlights, bar lights.
See, now you have more experience.
Real estate?
Well, real estate, sure. But you also have more experience with a fishing boat and
That's
the
my
knowledge of what you're going to need on the
real
water.
big boat.
Yeah.
Than what I had. Like I grew up.
Its name is Jenny.
Ski boats at Racetown.
I grew up on boats in Racetown Lake, but my dad knew what he was doing, and it was just skiing boats. We weren't doing a lot of fishing on them, but I really learned a lot just from a 4-hour trip on Pincho with my 2 kids, and I think between the 3 of us, we had about 75 fishing rods on a 12-foot John boat.
Yeah.
Where I'm just running the trolling motor. Like, I learned so much about what I need and, almost more importantly, what I don't need to bring along.
Yes.
On
kids.
just a trip like that. Yeah. Leave two kids and 73 rods at home.
Well, with a dad and an Uncle Rusty and an Uncle Steve, since I can walk, having river boats on the Juniata till now, and this is being my 8th boat I've owned, I now know what I want and what needs to be on it and where it needs to be. And hopefully it'll be everything that I want it to be, and I won't sell this one and say it's not right. But it's going to be closer than anything I've had before.
Not saying that you won't get the boat that
Dave's other boat that he don't want to sell.
Or, or build some custom something, whatever, in the future. But this boat is it. It's so cool, man.
It's going to have a lot of good memories in it. When it's time to sell it, it'll be sad.
Awesome.
Yeah. But, I didn't plan on drilling big holes in the floor and in the sidewalls, but it's already done. It's like, the best way to run everything under the floor of a boat is just go ahead and get a hole saw out and drill a hole in it, because now you're committed. So it's
there. You go.
When you drill a 3-inch hole
Tips
through the
and
aluminum,
tricks.
yeah. So if you're debating on whether to do all the work, just get a 3-inch hole saw out and drill a hole in it, and then you have to, yeah. And then stare at that hole and go, now I'm committed.
Here I go.
Should also get
Hold my beer.
a screen door and some Flex Seal.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Just in case.
Note to listeners, if you're going to drill a 3-inch hole in the bottom of your boat, make sure you don't go through the bottom of the hull. Exactly. So, yes. But no, the boat's coming along real well. It's I'm excited. It's going to be pretty classic, and R2's going to have a lot of good memories in it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of boats, listen, I got on R2 David Kyle. Anybody heard about that guy?
Yeah, I've
Sounds
seen
familiar.
stuff.
I follow him.
I saw a picture of a boat on Instagram that you just recently posted.
It's bigger than the boat he has now.
That was my first boat.
Throwback.
So you don't have it anymore?
No, I don't.
Why are you posting it today? You got me all excited.
Oh, it was a throwback Thursday. It was to my first boat.
Is that what TBT? Never mind.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what TBT meant.
That was 4 boats ago. So I'm on. I guess I need 4 more, and I might figure out which one I want.
We weren't invited on that one either.
Throwback Thursday. Just say Throwback Thursday. Don't give me a
like,
TBT thing.
Yeah.
That was probably taken in 2009.
It was your first, you
had a hat on, so I wasn't aware.
That was the boat I bought. That was, I showed up to the guy's house with a wad full of cash, and
oh yeah, you told, yeah.
What happened to it?
What happened to that?
You're like, it's too big. I just want a smaller one.
No, that was only a 14-footer. And
Sounds just like him. I didn't know who was talking.
I sold that for a 16.5-foot Alumacraft, and then sold that for a bay boat, and
sold that for a 14-foot John boat.
I still have the bay boat, and I have a 14-foot.
Where's the bay boat?
In Delaware.
Are we?
Wait a minute.
Interesting.
You have a bay boat in Delaware?
Yeah, I have like a 20.
Why are you fidgeting? What? You're ridiculous.
Last summer I had some
you have
problems.
issues.
Do we know about this bay boat?
Yes, I've talked about this.
I don't think
No, I don't. Never heard about a bay
sound
boat
familiar.
in Delaware.
I've only heard of trips
Hey,
to
guys,
the bay.
listen,
I've never heard
if
of a
you guys-
boat that sits in the bay.
Last summer I had
Have a
steering cable trouble with
If
it.
you have a
I
podcast,
know a guy that can fix that.
It's all fixed now.
Okay.
It was fixed by the end of the season.
Good luck.
And hopefully I'll be opening, getting it,
Where is this boat located?
if you have a podcast and you have more than 1 or 2 guys that and you could probably be more honest with each other,
I got a halibut boat in Alaska, by the way. Like every week I sit here, my eyes get big. Oh, I got a bay boat down in Delaware. I may have been asleep through a few of these podcasts, but I don't remember no bay boat in Delaware.
Oh, guys, I forgot to tell you, I have 2 brand new Hobies just sitting at my house.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I own 1,500 acres on the Milk River in Montana that we could hunt anytime, but I just never invited.
With a twin prop airplane, it just gets me there whenever I want.
So is this something we can take out in Delaware?
Not we. Him.
Clearly not we.
No, we.
He's part of the brotherhood now. It happens. It's like we all get keys to it.
He's in the wolf pack.
We all get keys to it.
I was going to make Ian's keys to my center console, but not now.
Way to go, DK.
I'm not.
You blew it.
Yeah.
What's on this 20-foot?
Like
everything.
130 horsepower, 2-stroke.
Oh, my God.
Who makes it?
Can't look
It's
at you right now. You're back
it's
in the beanbag chair.
It's like a 1999 Key West with a Mariner
Center
135.
console.
No,
Sounds like
it's
it'd be
a
a
cubby cabin.
Sounds like it'd be a great
So I
boat
can
to
sleep
catch
in the
stripers
boot.
off of.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm so tired.
You ever,
sick
you ever
of
take
his
it out
crap.
for stripers, DK?
No.
Twice a year.
But for flounder.
Only do flounder on.
We
Who
used to.
fishes out of a
Our
cuddy
flounder
cabin
boat.
for
We
flounder?
have a different one for
I
stripers.
want to do it.
We would go to the Bay Bridge. Like when I first got it, before we had connections in Delaware, we would go to the Bay Bridge and fish for stripers down there.
What about black drum?
I was out like 2 years ago for it and caught nothing but dogfish.
Oh, I'm sick of dogfish.
No, I don't want to go fishing
you
for
mean the
dogfish
beer?
at all.
Yeah, the beer. It was a good day.
Case by case after Dogfish Head.
After this case. Hey, DK, I'm worried about the beer situation. After this case and the next
You know
case,
what,
there's only
TB
one case left.
Caught 90 minutes of IPA.
TBT stands for thanks, brother, thanks from now on.
Yeah, we go Bay boat. Okay, so
I want to hear about your place in Maine next week.
Don't forget the
all we do is kill bear up there. You guys don't want to go
don't forget his big lease out in
But
Missouri.
we're not lobster fishing.
when we're not lobster fishing.
Yeah, my lobster boat that I run on the weekend. I'm serious. I'm sorry, Deke. I don't remember you ever tell me about a 20-foot
You guys
bay
ever
boat.
see Wicked Tuna? Yeah, well, it's me and my cousin.
I could have sworn I talked about it before. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're not. Sorry.
Good
Must
surprise.
have slipped your mind along with that.
So,
Is it parked in
acre
a
lease
slip
in
or is it on a trailer?
Illinois.
It's on a trailer.
so we talked about something old. Do you have anything new?
Something blue. I tried to go trout fishing this past weekend, but I was out there and about after an hour of no bites and it's starting to rain like sideways, I decided it's nice and warm at home.
Yeah.
And there was hot breakfast if I got back by like 8:30.
Like pancakes?
Pancakes.
Some like eggs. No pancakes. But
Gotcha.
Pancakes.
I had thick cut bacon for the first time in a while.
Shut your mouth.
This weekend.
Oh, it's so
Now you're
good.
showing
is that
off.
like Canadian bacon?
No, it was just
No.
it's thick cut.
Just thick
American bacon.
like
Is
American
it bacon, eh?
like a ham disc?
No, like thick cut,
like spam.
like quarter-inch thick.
yeah.
Pork,
That's
pork
good
belly?
stuff.
Yeah, it's good.
Like I fried it for a long time, so it should have been hard, crispy bacon, and it was still chewy.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
thick.
it was.
Costco sells some good thick cut bacon.
I don't know where my wife got it from,
Giant
but
cracked
kudos.
black pepper on it.
Kudos. But anytime I make bacon now, my son keeps reminding me that
That's not the thick cut.
we're all out of. Well, no, even the thick cut stuff. He's like, "This is really good, but it's not as good as my wild boar. When are we going on another boar hunt?" I was like, "Dang it!" It's a good point.
I'm asking the same thing.
Hey, Will, did you do something this past weekend?
Nope.
Nothing.
Really? You didn't
I
go
disagree.
fishing or?
Hooked on
surgery.
Hooked on trout.
Oh, I'm totally hooked on trout.
Hooked on crankbait.
So I got out the first day of trout in the western part of the state with my cousin Stevie.
Who can't be here tonight because it's
his birthday.
his birthday.
Happy birthday, Stevie.
it's my birthday. I do what I want.
And not podcast.
Not podcast.
Bless his heart.
We love you, Stevie.
Happy birthday, bud.
Finally reached 30. I'm impressed.
You made it.
You made it.
Someday.
You're an adult now.
No, I think he hit the big 4-0.
No. What? Shh. No, he's 30.
No, it's seriously
Is that like a common thing this year?
4-0
Yeah.
across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's common. when I look in my rearview mirror,
My dear view.
yeah, my dear view mirror.
So So anyway, happy birthday, Stevie. We went to Cowan's Gap for the first day. It's a little mountain lake. You just keep driving up the mountain and you'll get to it. It's just at the top. There's this beautiful mountain lake.
There's a lake on top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful. So
An East Coast mountain.
yeah.
But still good climb.
Appalachia.
Yeah.
Might have heard of it.
Yeah.
So we get there and we're barely organized. You know, we got kayaks in the back of, he's got a nice Dodge and and his little setup, and I got my setup. And we're waiting in line to launch the boats. And we're waiting, and I'm kind of just following them because I haven't been there before. I've seen the lake. I've driven by it just to know where the location was, but I never fished there. So we're waiting in line to launch, and I'm like, it dawns on me, like, we have kayaks. We don't have to launch from a launch. And, it took us forever to figure that out. And I'm like, just go. And he's like, what? We're kind of like lipping to each other.
You can launch from the grass next to the launch.
Just go. Like I was like trying to move.
And you guys are probably on miser time and like trying to get to like the 8 o'clock opener.
No, 100%.
Yeah. So,
100%. So technically right now it's 7:54.
Yeah.
And the kayaks are still in the truck.
No. But I stopped eating food. So
You don't hear that every day.
So Will was probably a little angry.
So breakfast is not important to me anymore, where it used to be very important. Now it's not as important. I mean, it's still important, but it's not important.
Thought it was the most important meal of the day.
Not
right
anymore.
not when you're fasting.
Perpetual fast. So anyway, I'm not doing the food thing, so I don't really care, which actually saves us a ton of time.
We just drove right by Sheets.
We drove by Sheets, drove by Rudders.
I feel like you care. You're just telling yourself you don't.
I waved at it as we went by. I miss you.
Call me later.
I'll see you for lunch.
I seriously got crazy on some Rudders that has those cubed meats and cheeses.
Oh, yeah.
I got nuts on that. But I don't care about food anymore. It's my new thing I don't
Seems
care
that
about. I miss you, food.
So you launched your kayaks.
So I get them. I'm like, let's go. Like, just pull out around these guys, and we'll get up to the parking lot. We pulled in. We found these shady spots. And I mean, not
shady.
Not covered with tree. I'm talking about just like
Lock your car doors.
under normal circumstances. If it wasn't the first day, we would have got tickets, crazy tickets.
Questionable if it's allowed parking.
Yeah, but it's like the first day, and there's game wardens everywhere. There's people, park rangers everywhere, and they know it's the first day. So we did it, and we were fine. We got our boats in the water. Stevie was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe how heavy your boat is. And I'm like, yeah, that's...
Again, it's impeccable. I thought Stevie was here for a second.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I can't wrap my head around
Your
how
impressions are uncanny.
spot on tonight.
Spot on.
Yeah, stop it. Deke.
See?
I'm just being...
Who was that?
I was Deke.
It does take a man to get that orange kayak in the water.
Yeah, so he was all jacked up. He's got his FS10 and
He's like carrying it under his armpit.
oh, it's like a briefcase. It's like a man briefcase.
My kayak seat's heavier than your kayak.
I thought it opened it up and there's a laptop inside. Everything's nice and organized.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got in. We just got in the water, and as we look back, this guy has. I'm gonna butcher this. Is it the Pro V, the big gigantic like tracker?
The Pro V 118.
Is that
the 180 Pro V?
They're just beautiful looking boats. It's way too much boat for that lake.
Yeah.
Has like a 90 on the back, and he's gonna push it around with a trolling motor all morning.
Yeah. And it's big. It's a big. It's a big.
Big double wide haul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look those up. The tracker things, just so you have an idea. This guy, it's a pretty good grade on this ramp. He unhooks his boat and just dumps it in the parking on the ramp.
And come off the trailer.
Yeah, it comes right. It's like
that's gonna leave a mark.
Dumps it
on the blacktop on the concrete.
Yes.
I didn't do that my first time.
Yes, all of it.
I have never actually witnessed that in person. That had to have been a spectacle.
Dude, people, it's like
And were there people waiting to get in? So he held them up.
There's lines forever. There's
So
people.
he
This is the
now
first
the
day.
Newest jerk.
Oh, yeah.
Of Cowan's Gap forever. They'll write songs about him.
Yes, it's the first day of trout in a super stocked lake. It's like the one back home in Altoona.
Can't take it.
What's the lake back home? I'm blanking on it.
Canoe Creek.
Canoe Creek. You know how it's just shoulder to shoulder. Same thing. Cowan's Gap gets crazy traffic like that, and. He dumps this boat. It's a monster boat. It's not like a little John boat that everyone else has.
Nobody's picking it up to help them.
There's not two guys picking it up on both sidewalls and picking it up, moving in the water.
The park people had to like
get a bulldozer to push it.
Yes, 3 hours later, they finally get this thing and they pick up the front end with the the bulldozer end of it.
Have you ever been the most hated person in the world for a day?
And
at Cowan's Gap?
Not like that.
That can happen quick
imagine.
at a boat launch.
Yeah.
The funny part though is like if you've ever been to a restaurant and someone just dumps a plate or smashes something,
spaghetti all over your head.
Applauded.
And everybody applauds. And it was like a rock concert after like Nickelback's amps blow out.
Well, who untethers their boat and backs down a ramp and smashes the brakes? He had to afford to come off the trail.
Well, here's the thing. When they're like when guys get in there, it's kind of hectic because you got all these angles and you got this trailer going back and forth. This guy had another dude going left, right, left, up. He's just yelling orders, and that's like it. They don't know what they're doing. They're like brand new boat, and
let's
an
go to
idiot
Bass Pro guys and spend $30,000 on a boat. And
They
take
just
it to
bought it
trout
the
fish.
night before.
Probably 14 batteries to run the trolling motor on.
I
that
would
thing.
have gave
It's
up.
good news it dropped where it did because they didn't put the plug in.
I would have gave up everything
Saved them.
in the world to go see this.
I would. Yeah, no. It was awesome. They actually about 4 hours later, like Stevie and I were literally coming back out from fishing. They actually put the boat in the water.
They had straps around it to pick it up. Yeah.
I wouldn't have done it.
Usually it takes like a farm tractor to pick it up.
Well, they did. Yeah, they farm tractored. They didn't pick it up. They just picked it up the front end enough so that the guy could crank and back the truck in.
Did this smash the motor when it hit?
You crank and back up, crank and back up.
I knew I saw a 90 Mercury look pretty new on Craigslist this week. roughly scratched.
Yeah.
Yeah, he dumped it right on that, right on the motor, right on the back.
Oops.
That's terrible.
So, but we fished for a little bit.
That wasn't the only massacre on that lake.
On that lake. I was pretty fired up. Like I spent a bunch of money to get to this day. I had a couple new larger raw, like trolling setups, and I wanted to troll. That was my goal. I needed I ended up needed to be a little bit deeper than I was with some of the lures that I was using, but
could have got
it's a learning curve.
You could have got that new setup called the Rebel Barb. I hear it goes pretty deep.
Well,
right in the finger.
Yeah.
So I did end up catching a couple fish, and I was really proud of myself. I really was. Like this all happened, and I did it on the kayak. I used to do the trolling for trout with Leanne's grandparent.
Yeah, we talked about this a lot. You caught a lot of trout with that technique. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, you slay them, massacre them. It's wonderful.
That's pretty cool. I've never done that before. Sounds like a neat morning to do it.
We talk about kayaking a lot, but Will's kayak is technically like the perfect kayak for trolling for trout.
For living.
Yes.
Yeah. It's awesome.
For just living in it.
Just living. It's like tiny house, tiny boat.
I can do my wash in the front of it. I can hang it out to dry in the back of it. Have my kitchen over here.
So you did catch some trout.
So I did. Yeah, I ended up catching some trout. Stevie did just kind of like hover, kind of just drift and cast.
Yeah.
Drift and cast. And he's throwing his cast masters and his, different things like that. But he did well.
It was nice to see a video of him in his kayak.
Right.
Yeah.
He looked great.
Yeah, it looked like he was having fun.
This is my FS10.
I'm turning 36 this week.
It looked like a great morning out to be, too. You had some good
beautiful
weather.
The water looked calm, yeah.
So you guys caught a couple trout. Did you catch anything else?
So this trout, I had a nice rainbow, and the water, the lake is just really cold, really just beautiful mountain lake, like I said. And this guy, I had a Rebel Craw, it's a brown with the orange belly.
Ooh, I like those.
Yeah. But it's got
They catch everything.
2 trebles, and he just starts, wiggling like crazy, and all of a sudden, I just looked down and
So wait a minute, you had the fish had a hold of it. You caught a fish with it.
Yeah.
Okay, I missed that part.
Oh yeah, so I reel the fish in, I get the fish, and I'm going to take the
Rebel Cray out of its mouth.
right on, and it just starts like doing the death roll like an alligator.
Oh,
it was like, and the Rebel just like right by my nail bed
in the cuticle.
Up front, just
There's nothing cute about a catfish.
Yeah. Jerk.
He didn't, did he?
Right by my nail bed. It just sinks one of its hooks in.
Past the barb.
Yeah, it was under barb.
Dude, it was in.
It was in.
Once that barb disappears, your eyes get bigger.
Yeah.
Because there's no way of backing it back out.
And I started so I had the fish on, and he's still acting up, and it's hanging from my finger. And
Did you give him a lecture? Stop moving.
Yeah.
That's when you punch him in the head.
So I had to start to think how this is going to happen, and all the while,
now you understand why we use a gaff even for trout.
Even for trout,
everything gets gaffed.
Makes sense, 100%. So I started thinking, your mind starts going a mile a minute, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, because the treble just keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper, and it was up to the bend.
I so can hear you now telling the ER doctor, "Don't touch it. I'll die with it. Just wrap it up. Don't touch it."
My major concern,
that's a really tender part of your finger.
Oh, my major concern was whether I got to get this fish off first. That was because it's only going to make it worse.
He keeps wiggling. I don't know what he's doing.
I'm never going to be a hand model with this cut.
Which is something I think about. It keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
So I finally I pinched the crayfish, the Rebel Craw. I pinch it with my thumb against my injured finger and
impaled
finger.
Yeah.
And I finally get the fish off, and
I'd have chucked him halfway across the lake.
At Stevie.
I definitely would have eaten that trout.
I got him tucked in under my calf, under my right calf, and I was like, "You stay there."
I'm not done with you.
Quit moving.
I'm going to torture you later.
Something will eat you today. Yeah. So,
but you still have this rebel crayfish stuck in your finger.
Yes. So, and now I'm at this point where I'm starting to shake a bit. Like I can't. It's the pain is kind of like I'm not quite to the point where it turns a little bit numb.
You should have dipped it back into cold water.
I did. It was great. It was glorious. But I did.
Yeah, a treble hook in your finger past the barb, that's probably one of the most painful areas to get it.
It was the metal was up against the nail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like in the flesh, up against the nail. It's
so how'd you get it out, bud?
He's shaking just thinking about it.
Took a couple deep breaths.
Remember, you
count
just
to 5 and pull it on 4.
You just ripped it out of that trout's mouth. Tell me again how you got it out of your hand.
I would have given
Fish have feelings too.
anything to have a nipper, like
What are you going to do with that?
or like
I just cut it off and waited till later, right?
or if I would have had like somebody Saint Bernard with some
Barrel whiskey.
big barrel
barrel whiskey in his underneath his chin, that would have been great. But I had to do this.
See, Catfish, that's why I keep that big thing of whiskey in my kayak.
I learned.
He was wondering why I
every
had
day.
that there.
Yep. So I had to do I grabbed my pliers and I'm like, I tried to pull. First of all, I just pulled and it wasn't coming. And I'm like, my first thought was, these things really work.
Imagine that a barb that's designed to not back out.
That Gamakatsu guy knows what he's talking about.
Oh, they did. It was incredible. It wouldn't come. I was just trying to pull a little bit with my left hand, just pulling it out. Nothing happened. I started sweating a little bit, and I'm like, I have to document this. So I stopped pulling. And I'm like,
oh, yeah, I saw the picture of it. I went, why would you stop and take a picture of it stuck in your hand?
I threw a little video up.
Video.
Oh, I really got myself.
Thanks to that guy.
As I'm sweating
pans
and
over to the trout.
becoming nauseous.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, and like I took my hat off. I pulled my vest off. Like I started getting really sweaty.
Meanwhile, he looks over at the boat ramp and goes, at least my day don't suck that bad.
Yeah, I pointed my finger with the rebel craw, and I'm like, look,
It's got that one little knocker
that
in
really
it.
sucks over there.
You can hear it shaking when he points.
The guy,
It's got the rattle in it.
Tractor's pulling in to pick this boat up, and the guy's still going, go to the left, go to the right.
Oh my gosh! And that the other thing that you're afraid of is it has 2 sets of trebles.
Yeah.
So like,
If you pull too hard, you get the other one stuck in the bottom of your finger.
At a moment's notice.
there's 5 more hooks just staring at you.
It was war.
Oh, it was so. I got like serious, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? I gotta figure out how to cut that. It was just in an awkward place. I couldn't like manipulate it with both hands, so I had to I'm like, maybe I can cut it with my pliers.
I can hear Stevie now. Stevie, I got a hook stuck. I'm kind of busy over here right now, bud.
Oh, he would never.
Where'd you catch that fish at?
I wasn't near him, but
He's
he would
knocking his kayak over to short drift him.
Yeah, I wasn't near him, but he would never come. So I just.
You caught him on a crawfish, you said? Hold on a second. I'm tying on
Yeah,
a
he
new lure.
switches
I don't have one. Can I have that one in your finger?
When you're done with that, let me know.
So I'm like, what do I do? I just push it through, crush the barb, then pull it out. There's a lot of options, right? You have options. That's one of them.
There's a few.
I don't love that one, but
None of them are good.
You could tear your fingernail off pulling it out backwards, right?
None of them feel good.
so I started pulling with my left and pushing down with my right.
Why are you squirming there, Ryan?
In opposite
Sounds painful.
and then I pulled out some gunpowder and lit it.
Nice.
Just kidding. Like Rambo.
That'd have been so sweet.
I wish I had gunpowder.
Give me a time frame from the time you hooked yourself to the time you took the video till now, pulling on it, how long has it been?
I
how long
don't.
was it in your
48
finger?
seconds.
It felt like forever. I don't know exactly. Maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's long enough for it to be in your finger.
Yeah. Too long.
Of course, like no one's paddling over to me to help.
No.
Everybody just drifts by me.
Look, Will, I caught another trout.
Yeah. What'd you catch that one on? Shut your mouth.
Not my finger, you jerk.
I shake my fist at
That
it.
would have been the man thing to do, is to stick your finger back in the water till you catch another trout and let him pull it out of your finger.
Moving forward here, I do end up doing it retrograde, pulling it out the hard way, with the barb.
Grinding your teeth and squinching your eyes.
Yeah.
Peeing yourself a little bit as it pulls out.
I got it. It never fully came out. Well, I was pulling it, and then I relaxed, and then it just kind of like tipped, slow motion, and popped out, and I was like, and the best part about it was I could still fish with it.
Yes.
I caught a trout on it. I'm not gonna.
No.
After.
Yeah, it was
Nice.
intact. Everything's good. My hand's good.
It had Will scent on it.
Did the finger throb afterward?
Like the next day, for sure. Yeah. If I touched it, for sure.
There's something about feeling your heartbeat in the tip of your finger that never feels good. Smashing your finger with a hammer, whatever the case may be, I hate that feeling.
And of course, you don't know how much you actually touched that spot of your hand.
Yeah.
Until it's
Until it's-
injured.
Yeah.
Until you've been attacked by a rebel crayfish.
I'm sorry that drug that story out, but
No, that's good.
Perfect.
I'm glad you didn't have to go to the ER to have the. It would have been a shame to cut that barb off that rebel crayfish.
Yeah, a million possibilities went through my head, and part of me was like, I can get this out, and I'm like,
You're lucky though, because it may not have. I mean, if barbs are designed not to come out.
Yeah.
You work in a hospital, there are ones that won't come out.
I'll get it out. I know what it takes to get it out. I've seen it. I've been
Brute
there.
strength.
But it is, you got to be you got to stop caring about your finger for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Stevie had a great time, and he caught a bunch of fish, and we got stopped at the.
Yeah, you got stopped by the warden.
They're just patrolling. They're just watching everybody.
They're doing what they do.
Yeah, it's a big day. So be legal.
Yeah.
I had.
Can I tell them about your PFD?
Yeah.
May I?
Oh, please. Yeah, I love that story.
So, Will's, I dare say, probably 260 plus. And so if you would picture your normal PFD on a guy of that stature, it's like a fairly decent size life jacket. And if you would downsize that to trying to get to the smallest life jacket you can, it would still be probably like a medium-sized life jacket. Not Will. No, Will has what looks like
fanny pack.
Fanny pack, or like a small stadium seat that you pull the ripcord on and it blows up. But it's not much bigger than like a loaf of bread, if like that size.
Yeah.
Is it a blow-up one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But then, like, he's coming out of the lake, and the warden stops him, and you have to have your PFD, on or with you. And so Will's like, oh, yeah, I got it.
He was standing there when I took it off. I mean, he was like, so he knows, like, coming in that,
He at least had it on.
he had his clipboard right there. Like, he was
ready to find you.
ready to go. I mean, he looked like he was salivating like Pavlov's dog. He was
Yeah.
like, I got this guy.
If you would see this thing, though, like, even I saw it in Will's shed a couple weeks ago. I'm like, Bud, is that legal? Is that – well, that's the same thing the warden said to him.
Yeah.
Is that thing even legal? Is that thing like
said, I
real
don't-
flotation device?
I said, I don't know, bud. It's my PFD.
And then it has a U.S. Coast Guard
Yep.
certification on it.
So
But at the same time, what'd Stevie do?
So I'm like, we roll up there, and he comes up. Hey guys, did you have a good time? Yeah. Oh yeah. We small talk. Blah blah blah. Of course we had a great time. Check out my finger.
Look at this rebel crawfish.
I have a used rebel crayfish for sale. Cheap.
So he says, are you aware that up until whatever date we have to have PFDs on
the non-swimming months?
Yes.
Yeah, boats under 16 foot.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh yeah, man, absolutely. He's like, well, where's your PFD? So I pulled it out. I showed him. I'm like, he's like,
Will pulls it out of his back pocket. That's how small it is. He's like, here it is.
Unfolds it.
Oh wait, no, that's my wallet. Like, hold on a minute.
What is it? I'm like, here's the ripcord. It's a blow up thing. Is it legal? U.S. Coast Guard? I'm like, I don't know. And I hand it to him. I'm like, it's my thing I bought. You know what I mean? I don't even know. So he's like, oh, I guess it is. Sorry, man.
But meanwhile, in the background,
Stevie says, I don't know, man. I wouldn't trust him. I didn't think it was legal either.
He's totally taking the side of the warden, trying to get Will in trouble. You should give him a fine anyhow, because I don't like it.
I hate that kid.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
He was
buddy.
fishing in my spot earlier. Oh, my.
And this is like when he tells you how things were when we were kids, like, it's not real. He lies. It's not.
He lies.
I have a feeling if he was here, he would be telling a different side of the story.
I'm glad he's not.
No.
So we're only hearing your side.
Which is true. I have no reason to lie.
So says you.
Exactly.
I'm just going to play devil's advocate there.
Sounds like quite
I'm
the
fairly
eventful
certain
opening
at the
day.
Donegal Creek fishing derby, I'm pretty sure he pushed 2 kids in the water.
Without a PFD.
Without a small float.
And then stepped on their heads.
I checked them. They're supposed to have PFDs. That's what he yelled.
Or he walked by and just pickpocketed their stringer and walked away with their trout or whatever.
Stole their trout magnets.
Yeah.
They were just sitting there.
He might be 36 today, but he acts like he's 12.
He might be 40 today.
Doesn't look 40.
He's no older than 18.
Doesn't he have 16 kids, though? He might be 40.
He's 40. So.
Happy birthday, Stevie.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Indeed.
So, the moral of the story is, Stevie, if you'd have been throwing a rebel crayfish, you'd have caught more trout.
Yeah.
We have time to move on here. We'll do a real quick session here of the new segment we call the Better the Hunt topic hat.
That's right. That's the Better the Hunt topic hat, brought to you by Better the Hunt.
It's what they do.
Exactly. I'm going to pull this topic hat, and let's see what we get. Will?
Pick a good one, Ryan.
It's a shaking.
Are you serious?
It's a shaking, bud.
Let me guess, late season scouting.
That one was already done.
I loved it.
They're once and done, bud. What started you hunting?
Oh, my.
Pick a new one.
This is, seriously, why would you pick a new one? This is some of it can take a long time, but we're bumping up on time. So.
Yeah, these aren't topics that we have to dive deep on. And if you guys think there's more to it, then we'll throw it back. Unlike late season scouting, we covered that ad nauseum.
We can get back to that.
So
it's still more late.
Well, let's just keep this one simple. Just say what or who got us started hunting. And just leave it at that.
Sounds like Kyle wants to go first. I like it. Sounds
good. My dad got me into hunting, just kind of taking me and my brothers out as young kids, hunting small game with him as his buddies. We were pretty much their flushing dogs. So that's what got me started. And
I remember that from the basically Kyle.
Yeah. And then just hunting TV in general just kind of turned me on, expanded my
Made you love
desire. Yeah, expanded my desire, into the turkey hunting and the deer hunting side of things. So that's what got me started. Boom.
Excellent.
We don't say boom anymore. We say bam.
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 Deke?
Tranquilizing. Bam.
I would say going to hunting and fishing camp when I was younger, before I was even like of age to do that.
Like altar boy type age?
So like being like 7, 8, I think I was allowed to go.
Exactly.
I was allowed to go up. My grandma would always go to hunting camp as the cook because the camp was all of her brothers and sisters. Like her brothers owned the camp, the hunting camp. So she would go along up to be with family, and she would help cook, and she would take me along. And
Otherwise, you'd be.
Is that where you learned to cook in camp?
yeah.
Otherwise, you'd be home alone.
Yeah, no, I would be. Yeah, exactly.
Kevin.
But so like being there and seeing everybody go out and like if it wasn't like if it wasn't like a bad weather situation for opening days, I'd go along and tag along with the guys, whoever. So bunch of different cousins, great uncles, and my dad. So just family in general got me involved in it, hunting, fishing. And then from there, it just lit a fire to expand and go on my own, find new things. So
Cool.
I'll jump in now. My uncles, on my mom's side. So like my fishing stuff. My uncles on my dad's side took us like trout fishing and stuff that Phil hates, and the trout fishing was a tradition. You know what I mean? It was, and my mom, she did what she could to keep me in that kind of she grew up with that. Her dad and her brothers, big hunters,
running mountains,
huge hunters. Yeah. And so she made it a priority to make sure that I was, fishing and hunting. And my dad was not that at all. Yeah, he was just not. Like, I don't know what happened that he wasn't.
Well, he had a different passion though. He was hugely into martial arts, and which was a lifestyle of its own.
Sure.
No different than hunting or fishing. But his journey was to, what was he, a 9th degree black belt, or something crazy?
He had a couple. Yeah, he had karate schools and different things. Yeah, he was very, very passionate in that.
I don't think he had time to go hunting. Like it's all he
Yeah.
did.
I just don't think he didn't have the influences and stuff. But my mom made it a point to make sure that I was with Pap and her brothers and things like that. And they
Mike.
just,
I remember Mike.
Like my cousin Mike?
Yeah, I remember Mike. And then what was your uncle's name that hunted raccoons a lot?
Uncle Brad.
Yeah, Brad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chuck.
Yes.
I call him Chuck.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I can just call him Chuck. What up?
Brad is Chuck for
Uncle Brad.
Chuck.
Uncle Chuck.
Uncle Chuck.
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, not everything adds up. It's not a one for one.
I agree.
We're from Holdaysburg, bud. We can do what we want.
I won't deny that for a moment.
So, that they were huge, as far as bringing me up in this culture that we call hunting and fishing,
Outdoorsing.
I guess that puts it to me.
My grandma used to take me around.
Man, I thought I was talking. I'm like, I don't remember saying that.
I'm actually relatively new to hunting.
Will, once again, just a quick tip of the hat. Your impressions, spot on.
One rare form.
He's killing it.
So for me, it really did. It was my dad. Of course, the hunting and fishing thing in general. We talked about the trout fishing that I've done, but that was really just the first day or two.
How many trout fishing magazines have you been in?
Not 2 less than the number of bass magazines I've been published in.
Oh, gotcha.
Right. But the trout fishing that we did was just the first 2 days till the stock streams were done. And I'd say from the time I was 10, legally you couldn't hunt when I was growing up until you were 12. They didn't have a mentored youth program back then.
Right.
Yeah,
So
that was in like the 60s, right?
I think, no. Jeez.
How old are you?
50s catfish.
I'm 97 this year. 97. I'm going to go the opposite route of the rest of this group. I think from the time I was about 10, though, I used to get to go to, I'm going to use air quotes here, camp.
Yeah.
And hunting camp growing up was my uncle's farm in Tioga County. So I wasn't going to a camp. I was staying at my uncle's house. But the only time we went there was deer season. So I pretty much called it camp. And camp for me consisted of like shoveling cow crap because it was a dairy farm. So I'm pushing cow crap and
I need to go to camp. I mean, dairy farm.
Dairy farm. Hey, anytime. What's great about it is, from my perspective, I drive down the road pretty much this time of year when they start spreading manure on the fields to really
Smells like
fertilize them and stuff. I'm like, it smells like deer season. I like it. It reminds me of it.
No, you're right. Absolutely.
And there's those little triggers that you have that take you back mentally to those scenarios, and that's definitely one of them. But my dad taking me up there from the time I was probably 9 or 10 years old, and I didn't get to go to the woods till the year I turned 12. But just going up there and being at camp, watching guys bringing all the deer back and hanging them up, and we'd skin them out.
It was super exciting. Like you could hear probably a shot, and then you'd be like, okay, well,
they're coming.
Somebody's going to be coming back soon.
I'm sitting on the front porch in my onesie.
Yeah.
Why do you have to?
Had my feet in onesies.
No, I got it. It's cool.
You see
That's
it?
fine.
He still has one of those, bud. It's okay.
My Power Ranger onesie.
Go Power Rangers.
I don't think Power Rangers were around then.
No, they weren't.
It's probably Transformers or GoBots.
Don't kid yourself.
G.I. Joe.
We had underoos.
Yeah. Well, but not for like the onesie thing with
Not in the 60s.
feet in it. It was the original Star Wars when it first came out.
They still
I
had
had C-3PO
They didn't have
onesies.
TV then. It was just radio.
Closed circuit.
Short circuit?
Telegraphs.
Johnny 5.
Johnny 5 is alive.
Coming in 5x5.
Anyway. Catfish?
What did you like to be a pepper to?
What was the question?
Short circuit.
What got you started? What got you started hunting?
Dad. Dad got me hunting. Dad, my Uncle Hank, my Uncle Rusty. My earliest memories of hunting was being taken. We didn't have the mentored youth either, but he took me out when I was 8, 7, 8, let me tag along. Couldn't hunt, but I was tagging along, scaring deer off. Sitting in the bench seat, of an old Ford, picking up Uncle Rusty in the morning. Uncle Rusty jumping in, I'm not, no picking or whatever, but being honest, the triggers, the smell of Jack Daniels in the morning. Uncle Rusty jumping in the truck, being in between that and, some loving brothering arguments on the way to deer season about where we're going to park. And, I was, the only thing that I really believe that I was ever in charge of at that age was whether, to turn the heat up and down. Remember the long switch panel where you'd slide the heater back and forth?
You weren't in charge of whether or not it got done.
No.
You were just in charge of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was just clarifying that.
I don't know how to answer that. The earliest memories of hunting were good for me. However, I was a tag along at first. Now when Dad and Rusty split up, things got a lot better for me. So,
do you guys have
Dad? Like a lot of people in Pennsylvania, we talked about tradition. We talked about tradition and family and hunting camps. I've been through all that stuff, but hunting at the earliest age with Dad was just a way to get outdoors, and whether we killed anything or not, it was a sacred place. So,
do you guys have the memory of when you tagged along? Like the makeshift, like okay, I didn't have the proper boots. I didn't have the proper boots, so you put like garbage bags on your underneath your like inside the boots, so it was so wet and like. You didn't have the proper like orange vest, but it was like it was orange, and like you had somebody else's like extra cat.
Pretty much till I was 17.
I can remember being so young that hunting with Dad, where my father would drag his deer out, and I'd be so tired walking through the deep snow because we had winters when I was a kid, like deep snow winters, where I would literally sit on the deer and be like, "Drag me out too." Yeah, but yeah, it was. What got me into hunting was Dad mostly. My Uncle Rusty, I have to give him props, was always there in early stages of deer hunting. And like we said before about hunting, I didn't get into other types of hunting till I was in my teens. It was always deer hunting. Pennsylvania tradition of deer hunting was where it was. And, I talk a lot about trout season, and I don't like trout season, but I did a lot of trout fishing when I was younger and with Dad and Uncle Rusty. Lots of trout fishing. And I think that it was ultimately that same bench seat and that same smell that got me away from trout season. If there's a common denominator there. However, I can honestly say that when I was younger, chasing deer away, making noise, moving, there was nobody ever in my life that was more patient, of more blown hunts. Which is exactly why I think that I loved it, because no matter how many times I screwed it up, I was always invited. So that was always something that, like when, dare I say, take Phil turkey hunting. I will never, ever give up till Phil kills a turkey, because he's going to do it. He's going to feel wonderful. He's going to feel great. So he's excited just like a 12-year-old kid when he goes turkey hunting. It's so great to see it. Just using the climber stand for the first time, you should see the sparkle in his eyes the other day. It's so great to watch Phil expand.
He was puckered for a while.
You can see that in the pictures.
Then he kind of loosened up.
I love to watch Phil learn stuff. It's so magical.
And that's
you ain't kidding. Want to tell you about a tracking story?
But that's a point I want to drive home here real quick if I can before we wrap it up. We heard a lot about us growing up, and I think with one exception, it was all about our dad did this or our dad did that, and with Will it was his mom, but she made a point of doing it because she knew that Dad was about something different.
Yeah,
but it was always the parents that were directly involved in a lot of cases. But
and I have to give credit. I had an Uncle Hank that was extremely important in my hunting.
But that's where I want to go. The next level here is I heard a lot of uncle talk.
Yeah.
From Catfish. We went to my uncle's cabin. There are, and now when you at farm, I called it the cabin. I'm telling you.
It was my great uncle was the biggest trout fisherman.
My uncle was great.
It was down.
I mean, no, but like
my uncle was the
everybody
best.
had
I see what you did there.
Wasn't it down Calmanor Lane?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But and my point here is when you mention watching Phil, or you're going to make sure you take Phil out, I want to make sure everybody understands it's not left just to the parents to hand it down, right?
Absolutely.
The nieces and nephews that are out there in the world that we may be, because it goes without saying that any one of our kids at this table, any one of our kids are probably going to at least have an opportunity to be involved. We might not push them to do it, but they're going to have an opportunity to be involved in some stuff in the outdoors. But that's not to say that we don't have nieces and nephews or cousins or best friends like Uncle Buck, like people that otherwise wouldn't have an opportunity. I think it's our obligation to go out and just let them experience it.
And not only that, I mean, I think all of us can agree, even ourselves, there's been different times in our lives where you get mentored by just other people that are passionate about I mean, I see it within our group. I mean,
absolutely.
We each kind of coach each other along in areas where, somebody's got a stronger knowledge base that they're giving to us and vice versa. And that's one of the benefits of, the outdoor industry. Or just the outdoor community. You never know everything. There's always somebody that knows another trick or two more than you do.
And I will go on record to say this: as the youngest guy on this podcast, I've learned a lot from you guys. So thank you very much.
I have to say too, just sitting here thinking about early hunting.
I see what you did there.
There are some things today that I absolutely wouldn't take back. Sitting there in that bench seat with my Uncle Rusty, my Uncle Hank, Dad, I wouldn't take the Woolrich, scratchy, itchy, hand-me-down jacket that smelled like Marlboros because it was hand down to me. I wouldn't take that back. Like, that was the most. Remember the red plaid Woolrich? It kept you warm, but it was the most itchy, miserable thing to wear. The boots that were, a size too big.
Did you guys ever put bread pouches on your feet?
Yeah.
The wrappers?
Plastic wrap.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I had to put the bread bags on my feet before I put them in my shoes. Yeah, absolutely.
It's so stupid.
I used to
Made
love
waterproof.
I loved the smell of the hand warmers that had the charcoal stick that you lit on one end and blew on it and closed the metal thing with the velvet around it.
I have those still.
I do too. The smell of that isn't like anything else in the world, but to light one of them, put that in your pocket, the smell of that.
And they don't work for shit.
No, but to close my eyes.
But they smell great.
It takes you back. You said that smell.
Yep.
If I had to close my eyes and you give me one of them hand warmers, that smells like deer season to me. Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's a trigger.
Yeah. I can, that smell, and like I said about the Calmanor and stuff, I close my eyes, I can see distinctly, almost within 20 yards, I could tell you about the trees that are in that little hollow where we sat and watched the ridge up ahead of us and the thicket behind us. Like, I can tell you in way too much detail about that. I don't know what I had for lunch yesterday, but I can tell you about that stuff.
There's even triggers. Like, I remember the old green Ford had a small tap, like a lifter tapping. So when I hear a truck do that now, it brings back memories. Because when the truck was cold before it warmed up, it had a lifter that tapped. And I associate that with deer season, being out there early in the cold. And it's amazing what you remember as a kid. So anybody listening to this that don't think, oh, maybe I should get my kid in the outdoors, or maybe I shouldn't, or maybe I should take the neighbor who doesn't have anybody. Do it, because those memories are ingrained into your heart. Hunting's way more than just the traditions of it can live with you forever.
Those little like feeder like drainage ditches going towards a stream, like an actual like trout stream.
Mm-hmm.
You know how they're like really soft and like quicksandy?
Yeah.
So I was out with my great uncle and my one cousin.
Who's quicksandy?
She
like,
sounds
they're
hideous.
like quicksand.
Hard Brandy's sister.
I was like 9 years old, and I went to walk through one of those. And of course, I'm a 9-year-old with hip boots that are as big as I am, and all the gear, and out trout fishing. And everybody's ahead of me, and I walk through one of those because I'm like, oh, I'll make a line.
Your boot got stuck.
Boots got stuck, and of course I teeter-tottered and just went over completely in like 4 inches of water. I'm soaked though. My great uncle, he's probably in his like 80s at the time, hands my cousin who's like 14 the keys to the truck and said, go get him warm. I'm going to go fish for a little bit. He goes, catches his limit of trout, which at the time was like 8. And like 3 hours later, he comes back to the truck where my cousin Dustin and I are sitting there, and I'm getting warm. My cousin still to this day, the other weekend we were together, he's like, remember that time you fell in and you didn't let me fish because you were wet, and Uncle Dave made us go sit in the truck and he went fishing while you got warm? It's like, yeah, I missed that morning of fishing, man. Thanks. So those little things, and now I know, of course, that's going to be some soft bottom to cross. I'm not going to go through that with hip boots on.
And you're like, well, I'm not going to take you out of my bay boat. So
Yeah, but great memories growing up.
keep
Always
bringing
have 'em.
that up.
Yeah. that one's not going to go anywhere for a while. Loving it.
Well, this has been awesome. There's been so much going on, and the next couple of weeks are just going to be equally as busy. But I'm really just happy to have this little, topic hat segment, because it kind of just gets us out of the humdrum and makes us think about some really,
Yeah, there's no telling what we're going to get out of this stuff. And when we pull these topics out of the hat, and that is the Better the Hunt hat now, right?
Right.
Better the Hunt topic hat.
Well, it says it right on the hat.
It absolutely does.
Well, hopefully our listeners will chime in and
Yes.
message us some topics to go in that hat of what they would like to hear.
Yeah.
I got one. Yeah, I got some this week. So
good, because the thing is,
Brian Pikerowski definitely dumped one in the old bucket.
Yeah, I'm just going to warn you guys now. If you don't fill it, I will, and we'll just talk about archery, hunting, and bass fishing. So
Well,
give
we
me
can't
some
talk
more.
about bass fishing because you're relatively new to it.
Well, I said I wasn't going to say that anymore. You guys can say it all you want.
Oh, good.
I've
Thanks.
told myself I'm not saying it anymore.
We will.
I'm an expert now.
Oh, boy.
What? When did that change?
Well,
Wow,
after
he
my
was
second
gone.
publication.
Wow, he stopped podcasting for a week.
Wow, must be nice.
Anyway, hey, DK.
So, Ryan, where can they find us?
No. I said, hey, DK.
What?
Where can they find us?
Oh,
got him.
You can find us at ruttenriverpursuit.com. You can find us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can even find us on YouTube. Just search Rutten River Pursuit. You can find
Podcast.
us. Yeah, download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Castbox. You know?
Do we need to be on Pinterest?
I
Is
don't
that
think
a thing?
so.
And
I mean,
I'm on there all the time looking for recipes and stuff.
Did you look up a
What?
soap recipe or something?
I don't
think we need to be on Pinterest.
But most importantly, don't forget our epic turkey giveaway. There's
Yes.
still time.
There is a chance.
There is a chance.
You gotta,
saying there's
you
a
will have a
chance.
day.
Yeah, you better
will-
hurry. But
There is a chance.
Turkey
We're gonna-
giveaway. Check
Thursday
it out on
the
our
26th.
Facebook.
I will say it right now. It's the best turkey gear giveaway on social media this spring.
I've seen
as of
hands
right now.
down.
Yeah. So
We're trending top on Facebook.
People are going to just get their generosity boner on, and
they need to top us, and that's just going to help out people.
I'm sure, yeah. But they're running out of time
Exactly.
for PA.
So, hey, it was a great week.
Good
in
stuff,
the current.
fellas. Loving it.
All right.
See y'all soon.
Thank you.
See ya.
Peace.
I actually made some modifications to the boat already.
You
This
moved
is
the
gonna be
hole,
a
or
Did
what?
you name it yet?
never-ending process. No.
I got a name.
Okay, let's hear it.
Soylent Green.
Soylent green?
Soylent.
Soylent.
Nothing?
It's up for interpretation.
Because it's people! It's Charlton Heston. You're retarded.
I thought it was Steven Seagal.
I had the fish on, and he's still acting up, and it's hanging from my finger. And I
Did you give him a lecture? Stop moving.
yeah. I had to,
That's when you punch him in the head.
So I had to start to think of how this is going to happen, and all the while,
Now you understand why we use a gaff even for trout.
even for trout,
Everything gets gapped.
we roll up there, and he comes up. Hey guys, did you have a good time? Yeah. Oh yeah. We small talk. Blah blah blah. Of course we had a great time. Check out my finger.
Look at this rebel crawfish.
I have a used rebel crayfish for sale.
I dropped anchor.
Did you?
Yeah, you guys have been rolling with your paddles down.
Playing Daddy Date.